Our readers will know that over the past few weeks we've had a number of revealing articles published in La Nación, which is Costa Rica's largest Spanish-language newspaper, about the ridiculously excessive salaries paid to Costa Rica's government workers. The data shows us that the average salary in government is 137% higher than in the private sector. This means that while Jose is earning $1,000 per month for working at his job in the private sector, someone doing the exact same job working for the government is earning $2,370 and will typically earn more bonuses, have more vacation time, more sick days, and enjoy an equally absurd pension. In my humble opinion, wages in the public sector and in the private sector should be linked to production and to the productivity of people. After all, if everyone earns the same wage, what incentive does this give good workers, who are many, if mediocre workers have the exact same benefits? It has been suggested by some people that far from being a problem, the ridiculous salaries paid to many public officials should be duplicated by employers in the private sector. They believe that the result of more than doubling wages nationally would magically improve the purchasing power of people. It's impossible to increase the salaries of 4 out of 5 Costa Ricans who work in the private sector without implementing measures to increase productivity and without a complete reform of the public wage system. Let's take a look at a real-life example. Think of a pulperia, which is a small grocery store, with 2 workers who earn monthly salaries of 1 million colones plus social security charges, adding provisions for severance, vacation and bonuses, insurance and employer contributions to social security and a few others. The actual cost of an employee is increased by nearly 50% of their salary. The payroll of this grocery store now costs 3 million colones a month, 2 million in wages and 1 million in social charges. If the grocery store worked with a margin of 20% on the cost of the product, which is probably a little high, it would have to sell 15 million colones per month just to pay 2 salaries and the social charges. That amount would not be enough for water bills, for electricity and for rent, and we're not even thinking about a profit. How many pulperias do you know that sell 15 to 20 million colones a month? And this is not an isolated example. 94% of all firms in the country are composed of micro and small enterprises which would be forced into bankruptcy. Now that wage difference between the public and private sector begins to look a little bit more frightening. However, we need to be careful when comparing these averages since the composition of the workforce in the public sector differs from the private sector. The government has a higher proportion of professionals on its payroll, and of course nobody on the state payroll is planting potatoes. However, in 2014, 33% of central government expenditure, excluding interest, was financed by debt. In other words, the state is borrowing to pay its salaries and other running costs. In an effort to justify the indefensible, it is argued that excessive salaries paid by the public sector are beneficial to the economy because they result in higher consumption. The pulperia, on the other hand, in our example, knows that one should never go into debt to consume because the loan would quickly become unpayable. The debt must be used as leverage, that is, to invest in economic activity with the potential to generate enough income to pay down that debt. Mere consumption does not generate income to the debtor. In social terms, productive investment creates conditions that enable individuals to improve their productivity and their income. If a country borrows to improve infrastructure and invest in its people, namely its education and health, their citizens will be able to perform better at work and companies can achieve higher levels of efficiency, which will foster a virtuous cycle of healthy economic growth. And of course, companies that generate higher profits will be paying more taxes, and this also would help pay down the debt owed by the state. There is no choice. Wages should be linked to production and productivity of people. Doing it any other way puts us on track for an economic collapse. And finally, it was the comptroller of the University of Costa Rica who summed up the situation most accurately in their 2013 report when it stated that, quote, excessive salaries and bonuses could cause an economic collapse if no action is taken in the short term, unquote. Now, please, VIP members of WeLoveCostaRica.com, I need to know if you enjoy these videos. Please click on the like button if you like it, and yeah, click on the other button if you don't like it, and please give me your comments, A, about the article, and what you feel about what we've spoken about here, and B, what sort of videos you'd like to see in the future. Without your feedback, without seeing those likes and dislikes, without seeing your comments, I don't know what to create for you, and obviously that's the most important thing, is to create information, articles and videos that you want to see and read. This is Scott Oliver from WeLoveCostaRica.com saying hasta luego.